Hey everybody, welcome on day 3 of our trip to become an F1 performance engineer. Today we're gonna see how we are making an object to save our free practice and load it in our project. So first we're creating the def for getting the free practice. So here is put just a return with the call of your free practice. So free practice because it's the name of the file where the class is in. So just return this with the two parameters, event and year. I will make some changes later to fix any problems. Next, we're gonna see how we init a class. So you just put the def underscore underscore init underscore underscore in your class. You put the parameters in it with the self in first, because self means the class, so it's a parameter as well. But basically, if you use PyCharm, it will automatically put it. So first, we are creating the path to the file we're gonna check. So to verify if the data is already loaded and saved on our computer or our server, we're checking if the one file exists, and if it exists because it's created the first time it loads, then that means the Grand Prix is supposed to be loaded at this time. So then you check, you put time delta because like you can get the data at the real time. You have to get it in with delay. So the session is going on, then the session stop, and then data is available for you. So you have to put a 2 hour delta. Basically, is I think 30 minutes after the session. So one session is 1 hour for the free practice, but to be sure we don't have any problems, it's better to put 2 hours. Then we check if the date is passed, and if the date is passed, we just gonna load the session. We put a warning for this one because if this session can be loaded, that means you cannot return any data to the function that you called the free practice. So you're just gonna abort the creation of the object because there is no point creating an object with nothing in it. So you just return your warning to the user so he knows there is no data there. Then we are taking the laps and we are putting lap time in seconds because we are using Plotly on this tutorial later on. And Plotly is not very good with the time deltas, so it's better to have it in seconds. So with the dt.total seconds, you're just gonna convert your delta time in seconds. You're doing the same for the time, so we will be creating an alternative time, which is lap time .dt total seconds. So you're taking the time from the lap and you're putting it in seconds like previously. You're just gonna save your lap data frame in CSV on the file you checked at first. Next, we'll be creating a data frame with telemetry, but I forgot to put the part where I'm checking if the lap is accurate or not, because in free practice they are doing some quick laps and then they're making some slower laps to regain energy and stuff like this, or just testing some different things. So to have a clean plot, it's better just to remove the data we don't want in any of our plots. So I don't want this data. Maybe you want it, so just don't delete it and don't put the part where I'll put this. And for the minus 1100, it's because they start recording the session about 20 minutes before the real start of the session. So I don't know why they do this, but they are doing it. So just remove 1100 seconds. You won't be losing any laps, and you will just get 0 seconds for the beginning of the session approximately. Maybe it's like 5 seconds after or 10 seconds before. I don't know. It's about there. But you're not missing any laps. So next for the telemetry, we're doing a loop on every drivers because like you can't load telemetry for all drivers, and to have an optimized save, it's better just to load their best lap and not all their laps, because any elsewhere you will have like a 50 mega files, so it's not very good and not very optimized. I forgot to like where I want to save my file. I just like get a reflection on it and maybe so that saving it in a folder with the event name. So if I want to go check it by myself, I find it very easily. And I'm just modifying this and like I modify it on the telemetry file as well. For how I pick the data on the package, just go check the documentation. I'm not gonna tell everything because like it's will be too long. Just like I'm doing the basic request of the package. So I put my data in the self and I reload the data frame because if the file already exists, you won't be loading for the first time and putting it into a FP1 lab. So just reload it so there is no problem. And the self is to make it accessible anywhere in the parameters or properties of the class of the object session. Then you are doing the same thing for practice 2. Just let you watch, and if I have any comments, I will make them. Also, just copy paste. So there, you will put something to tell that session is not loaded. So self.fp2 and fp3. So if you call it in your next properties and you see that this variable is false, you won't have to load it. Now let's make the weather. So weather is like to have plots if it's raining, if the temperature of the track, of the air. Could be interesting. So I'm just putting it there. I'm not sure to use it later, but at least I have it. And if I want to use it, it's there. Oh, also, like it's not very optimized to put a nan at some places where you don't want data to be loaded, but with Plotly Express, when you have a nan, it just cut the line plot easily, and it's automatically made. So I'm using this technique because very useful. Here I forgot to put the .csv at the end of every file. It will make a big problem if you don't put it. So I'm just putting it. And in the next episode, you will see that I made some modifications because I made different things wrong. But don't worry, you will see. And anyway, at the end of this video, I will push it on GitHub, and you just have to, if you want to see at what point I was at the end of this video, just go see the GitHub at this push, so you will have the name under. So here I check that everything is fine, and I put the weather. Because you put the same variable everywhere and you're just loading a new session. You don't have to do any modifications in the part you copy paste. You can double check it if you want, but if you did the same as me, because you load the sessions on the same variable and you don't need those variables later on, you won't have any problem. It's just the part where you say self .fp2 lab that you will have to change because it's the variable you want to load later on, and it's better to have the real name. Here I forgot to say that the session was loaded if it goes there, so I'm just putting it. And on this one, I put just FP3 false because it's only the FP3 that isn't loaded there if it happens there. So I made this that if there is any problem there, you won't have a mistake. Okay, guys, then that's it for today. See you next week. Thanks.